Hi YouTube, I know it's been a minute since I have made a YouTube video for this channel, and there's a reason for that, but I'm back now, and I wanted to make this video about echo chambers. And what inspired me to make this video about echo chambers is the fact that I've realized these past couple weeks, and maybe even past couple months, that I have been in one. I have been in a right-wing echo chamber, and I wanted to address that. Now, I was never in an alt-right echo chamber. I never was far right. I never was alt-right. I never was a bigot. I never believed bigoted things. I think I still believe that all these names that I was called was completely unjustified and just not true, and came from people who were in their own echo chambers and still are. However, that doesn't mean that I wasn't in an echo chamber, because I was. Just like when I was on the left, and when I said I was in a left-wing echo chamber before, that is true. I really was. That's definitely true. I was in a left-wing echo chamber. But, like, I was never the kind of left person who, for example, there was a story, I guess, like, some white woman celebrity was on a talk show, and she was saying how she had to remind Ice Cube that he was black. Or not Ice Cube. Oh, I don't remember. Some celebrity who was black. I guess she had to remind him that he was black because he said he was going to come out, or he said he was going to vote for Trump because he doesn't like, it's 50 Cent, that's right. He had to remind 50 Cent that he was black because he was going to vote for Trump because he doesn't like Joe Biden's policy. I was never that kind of left person. Like, I never was the kind of person who believed I was so informed and educated about black issues that I could just tell black people who to vote for. Like, I never became that kind of so liberal that I became a bigot, basically. Like, that, I'm not saying that she believes bigoted things, but that, I mean, you can intellectually believe things, but still do things that are like that, right? So, I never became that kind of left person. But that doesn't mean that I wasn't in a left-wing echo chamber, because I was. And same with the other side, is I never believed in racist, bigoted, sexist, homophobic things. Like, I never believed that. But that doesn't mean that I wasn't in an echo chamber, because I was. So, I just wanted to stress that, and I also wanted to stress that I still don't believe that I deserved all the bullying that I got and the name calling, and you know, like, there, like, this one girl who, like, called me up, not me, one of my friends at work, and told him to unfriend me because I'm a terrible person when she doesn't even know me. Like, that's crappy, and I was totally undeserving of that. From that to people who, like, made fun of my appearance or whatever it could be, yeah, I still did not deserve that. But I was in an echo chamber, and I just want to stress that part, because I think some people are going to see this and be like, ha, I told you that you were wrong. It's like, no, like, you were wrong too. And a lot of times, I actually wasn't wrong about a lot of the things I said, because some of them really weren't that unreasonable. But I was also wrong about some things. I do think that there are things that I'm not going to say I take it back. I'm not a big fan of, like, regret. But, like, I don't believe them anymore. Now, there are some things that I do. There are many things I still believe, and there are many things I don't. And I'm not going to go into what they were, because I just don't feel like it's worth it. It's kind of pointless at this point. I'll just make videos about certain things maybe sometimes, but it's not worth it. So I really have been working on trying to get out of that echo chamber, and I've been avoiding politics altogether. And as a means of, like, trying to get out of that. If there's one thing I have to say, if there's one good thing about echo chambers are a bad thing. Like, they're still a bad thing, and you should try not to be in one. But if you have to give credit where credit is due, it would be that if there's one benefit of echo chambers, it's that it forces you to take the ideology seriously. So, like, when I was in the right-wing echo chamber, like, I was forced to really, really take conservative seriously. Like, I really had to pay attention to the nuances and complexities of conservative thought. You know, I got to see the stupidest arguments for it, but I also got to see, like, the very strongest ones. And so if there is one benefit to ideology. It is that. Now again, like I was never alt-right or anything, just like I wasn't ever like super super far left either, but that doesn't mean that I wasn't in an echo chamber, just like when I wasn't in that one. So I really want to stress that, because I really never became alt-right or anything. I was just only ever consuming conservative outlets, news media. I'm just like I was only ever consuming left-wing news media. So that is one good thing about echo chambers. If you have to give credit where credit is due, it's that you really are forced to take the ideology seriously, and you get to see that, like, oh, conservatives even disagree with each other quite often. And I think that it's actually one of the things that I think got me to see. I think one of the things that made me enter like a right-wing echo chamber from a left-wing echo chamber was the fact that when I started watching the videos, I became aware of how ignorant I was to conservative thought. Like, how much I just was not aware of. And that is very true. I really was ignorant to that. And I didn't take conservatives seriously. Like, it was just like, oh, bigoted people. I didn't think that, but sometimes I did, to be honest. So the point is that that is a very true statement, I think, that, like, you really are forced to take the argument seriously when you're in an echo chamber. But that's also the bad thing about echo chambers, is that you're only ever hearing the arguments for that ideology and never hearing the arguments against it, or at least like the weakest ones. Now, every once in a while, you'll come across the gem that, really does try to steal man the opposing views argument, but it's very rare, and it's usually not all the time, even with those people. So yeah, I do think that is a good thing about it, but echo chambers are still a bad thing. And part of me really did want to, like, I kind of wanted to, like, purposely enter another echo chamber just to make up for the fact that I left one or was in one, but I've realized that it's not a good idea. Like, I had that moment of consideration, but I was like, no, I'm just going to avoid it altogether. And that's why it's one of the reasons I haven't been making videos. It's not the only one, but one of them is I just wanted to pull back from politics. I've really been trying to make an active effort to not be in an echo chamber. And I just wanted to admit that to you guys, because I really have always said, and I really do believe in admitting when you've been wrong. I'm not saying that I've been wrong with everything I've ever said. I'm just saying that I've been wrong sometimes, and I'm not going to go into which they were, but I'm just saying that I was in an echo chamber. There are many points that I made that I still think are still really good points and that I was right about, but there are points that I don't think were anymore as well. And I really meant that when I said that I want to admit when I'm wrong. Like, I really try to mean what I say. Those weren't just words to me. And so I just wanted to admit that to you guys. And I hope that you guys are encouraged to see if you're in one as well. So, yeah, I think that's really the only point of this video. I will say that I don't regret anything. Like, I don't regret being in the echo chambers, because I learned something from it. I think when you learn something from an experience, oftentimes it makes the experience worth it. The knowledge that you gained is oftentimes worth the experience it took to be able to gain that knowledge. And I do think that, a lot of people are very ignorant of conservative thought. And a liberal thought, I'm sure, as well, but people of my generation particularly just don't. There really is a widespread ignorance, I do think, of conservatives, and I think that doesn't mean they're always right, because they're definitely not. But the point is, I think people should try to just take them seriously, and people on every side of the aisle should try to take every ideology seriously. Now, I don't believe every ideology is, like, the one. Like, I don't believe that. I really do believe in truth. But I also know that I don't hold the complete truth. Nobody does. None of us are omniscient. So it's very important to be aware of your own ignorance and your own limitations. Once you become aware of that, you can do a lot. But most people don't want to acknowledge the limitations they have. But you'll be thankful once you do, if you actually try to. So, yeah, I really did I just wanted to, like, it's a little funny to me, I guess, just because it's just a stupid, kind of crazy thought, but, like, I kind of wanted to purposely, like, enter, like, a Marxist echo chamber and a communist echo chamber. Like, I kind of wanted to purposely do it. I didn't, but I did have that, like, moment of consideration and thought about it, but I didn't. But because I realized you can still take an ideology seriously without being in an echo chamber. You can still do that. It just, when you're in one, you're forced to take it seriously. But you can still choose to take it seriously without being in one. So that's what I'm going to do. And I want to say, another thing I wanted to say here is that I'm focusing less on politics and more on myself lately. So politics has been more of like a hobby and less of an obsession lately. And I think that that's, for me, the way it should be. I've been focusing on myself, books, music, writing, a lot of those things, catching up with friends, things like that. So I think that that's probably best for me and my mental health. And also just, politics just isn't, it's just a side thing for me. And I think that's the way it should be for me. And so, I am still going to be talking about politics, though, and I just want to do it from a place of the most unbiased I can be. And that's going to be hard. Like, no one's perfect, and we all have biases, and I really have always tried to do that. Like, I really do believe that. But, you know, because I was in an echo chamber, I was unaware of some of the things I might have said or done that just weren't true. So I just want to be even more aware of that than I was. Now, I will say that I do think that it wasn't as bad as a lot of people are on both the left and the right that I see. It was never that bad, but it was still an echo chamber, and I just want to admit to that. There is one more thing that I want to make clear here, which is that if you're a conservative watching this, I don't want you to, like, feel abandoned, right? Like, I don't think that you're evil if you're conservative. I don't think that, and I don't want you to think that I think there's nothing conservatism has to offer, because I think that there's probably something every ideology has to offer at some point. Some might have more than others, but yeah, I'm still going to take you guys seriously. I just don't want to be in that echo chamber, and I don't want to be considered a conservative. I don't want to be considered anything. I want to be considered an individual who is also part of a collective. And I just want to be viewed as my own person. And I always have wanted to be viewed as that. But I really, really do believe that. And so I haven't abandoned you guys. I've been too, I guess in a sense, loyal to you guys. And I've done that with people on the left too, and I don't want to do it with anyone. Now, loyalty isn't all bad, but there is a point where it becomes too much. And so, yeah, my goal here for all my other videos is just to really try to stay out of that echo chamber. And I really do want to stress here that, like, I really did not deserve, like, a lot of the crap I got. Like, any of the bullying, any of the accusations I got that I was a bad person, I didn't care, I was racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe, transphobe, what have you, whatever it was or is, like, was not those things. Most of those people, anyone who called me those were bitter, ignorant, evil, or just, at best, were just probably having a crappy day and took it out on me. And I didn't deserve that. But I was in an echo chamber, and I just want to do my best to not be in one. So, yeah, maybe just take this as an opportunity to check yourself, really, and see if you're in one. And, yeah, so I hope this is inspiring to you guys in a sense of just, like, it really is good to admit when you've been in the wrong. And it doesn't mean admit when you're not been, like, it doesn't mean admit, like, everything about you is wrong. Like, there are many good points I made that I definitely still stand by. Don't get me wrong, but there are many points that I don't anymore as well. And maybe I'll get into those in some future videos.